Did you know that whoever you spend time talking to in the morning is going to set the tone for the rest of your day? Okay? So if you wake up in the morning and the first thing you do is you get on the phone with somebody who is negative, someone who is complaining, someone who is blaming, somebody who is criticizing, somebody who's talking about doom and gloom, you're going to wear that energy all day long. And then you go through life and you think that, oh, this is just the way things are. This is how the day was already set out for me. Who set the day out for you? You set the day out for yourself. So what I've done is I've made it a habit to spend the vast majority of my time, the vast majority of my morning, only engaging in rich conversations that are about possibilities, conversations about ideas, conversations about the amazing ability to use our imagination to think about something greater. And the sad part is, because of that, I spend the vast majority of my morning listening to audiobooks, because audiobooks are filled with great people that dared to think outside of the box, that dared to think outside of the norm, that dared to step away from the beat of society at that point in time. People like Bob Proctor, people like Napoleon Hill, people like Les Brown, people like Robbie Cornelius. You have to saturate your mind with the information you want to live out. I want you to really think about that. You have to saturate your mind with the information that you want to live out, because whether you know it or not, whether you believe it or not, whatever you consume on a consistent basis is what you will unconsciously live out. I promise you this. If you wake up in the morning and the first thing you do is turn on the news, good God Almighty, how do you do that? You wonder why life is a bore. You wonder why life is a bore. Oh, my day is just okay. My day is just okay. Came across an individual a few days ago, and he says, I asked him how his day was, and he says, considering all that's going on in the world, I guess I'm doing okay. Yeah, the old me would have corrected that individual, but I just let him have it because I knew what he was talking about. He's talking about all the chaos taking place between countries and people of different groups and things of that nature. And I thought to myself, I know he means well. And on one end of the spectrum, kudos to him for thinking about more than himself. But I would beg to differ that if he thought more of himself, he would not dwell on those things that he cannot control. And I think it's other people trying to control other people that is the foundation of a lot of the conflict that we have in this world today. Other people trying to control other people. I am not in the business of trying to control other people. Let other people control themselves. You focus on you. You do what you need to do to get your mind right. You do what you need to do to get yourself right. You do what you need to do to get your health right, to get your finances right, to get your mindset right. Leave these people alone. Let them tend to their own garden. Because what will happen is, if you try to tend to everybody else's garden and abandon your garden, all of a sudden you don't have any fruits and vegetables. Tend to your own garden, the garden of your mind. Your mind is yours. That's why they say mind your own business. Mind your own garden, okay? People call me selfish all the time. Robbie, you so selfish, all you do is think about yourself. I said, if I was selfish, I would keep all this information to myself. I wouldn't even try to share it on social media. I wouldn't have a mastermind group. I wouldn't put out courses. I wouldn't try to educate people if I was selfish. No, you're mistaken. Robbie knows that Robbie can't control other people. Yes, I'm talking about myself in third person, okay? So people are going to call you selfish. People are going to call you stingy, but that's their problem. Your job is to mind your own business and be mindful of the information you allow to enter your noggin. When you become extremely mindful of the information you allow to enter your noggin, you are then one step closer to controlling yourself and freeing the world. Look around. We got people that will easily tell you it's their fault, it's this person's fault, it's that group of people's fault, that political side's fault. And then when you look closely at their lives or look at them, you'll see that they have abandoned themselves in many ways. You know, So my job is to remind you to come back to yourself. Tend to your own thinking. Tend to your own emotions. Tend to your own wealth. You get rich. You get happy. You get healthy. And then you can teach somebody else how to do it. Go for it. Had an individual tell me one time money wasn't important, and then months later they wanted to borrow money. I said, no, you said money wasn't important. This is the type of stuff you have to deal with when you're coming across people who they unconsciously or even consciously believe a lot of times that they have no control over their life. They have no, you can tell by the language that they use that they believe they have no control over their life. And that's a sad way to live. They believe they have no control over the quality of their life experience. They use terminology like, oh, I can't help it. Or that's just the way it is. Or I'm being realistic. Whose version of realistic are you being? No, you're being a bot. You're being a bot, and you need to step outside of bot activity in order to experience something different. It's Robbie Cornelius with Web Asset Group, always encouraging you to master your mind and make money online.